Hey, Marcus Bronzy here, time for another episode of What's in the Box. Now, listen, just because we're late to the party doesn't mean we're not getting invited to the party, okay? So big shout out to Nintendo. Yeah, that's right. Switch 2, baby. Let's find out what's in the box and give you an honest review. Okay, so first things first, shout out to Nintendo for sending this over to us. We launched the original Nintendo Switch as well, and it's fascinating to see how far things have come from then. The Switch was something that was a bit of a different move compared to the consoles at the time. People weren't sure how well it was going to go down, and look at where we are now. Nintendo Switch 2, baby. So I've also got the original Nintendo Switch as well knocking around. But right, thank you Nintendo for sending this over to us. First things first, we're looking at is the Nintendo Switch camera. So this is the camera that feeds into their chat feature. So here's the camera in all of its glory. Nice sturdy base. Got a nice little Nintendo Switch logo there. Don't know if you can see it right there. And looks like all round good unit. Can adjust it here. It's got a USB-C plug where you plug it in under here. And what I like the most about this is, if you look closely, you can see it has the word open. Nice physical shutter on the camera. So that plugs in via USB. Fantastic. Let's get in the box, shall we? Here we go. There it is, baby. There is the Switch. Let's get that out, shall we? First things first. Look at that. Already significantly bigger than the Nintendo Switch. You can see a lot more screen size. I can tell straight away it's got a better stand there popping up. The Nintendo Switch one stand was okay, but it could have done with some improvements, but that feels a lot more sturdier. Got two Joy-Cons here as well, which, see how that clicks on, shall we? Here we go. Woo! And how do you get it off? There's a little button here that you press. And there you go. It's off again. Love that. Get the second Joy-Con on. Bosh. Bosh. Rest of the box we have got. This is the new controller holder from Nintendo. Big up yourselves, I like it. It's where you put in the two Joy-Cons and you can use it as a control pad. Great, sweet stuff. Power. This power block looks a little bit easier to store. This nice strong USB-C, which gives out 240 volt, 60 watts, and a USB-C 2C. Woo! The dock feels a bit more substantial than last time round. That's where you pop that off, and I don't know, I'll show you the right angle. You can kind of see that's where you plug in everything there, including an Ethernet cable, and you can tidily pop that back there. That's where you dock it, and the Nintendo Switch goes in like this. Slots in, comes out. Simple. Now, before we get to playing it, let's whip out the old Switch and see how it fares. I mean, you can see with the dock straight away, slightly larger dock. You see a larger console. You see the back of this dock with the USB-C and HDMI out and the USB. This one has HDMI, USB-C, and instead of USB, you've got Ethernet connection there. Yeah. The bottom of them, don't know if that makes any difference. I guess you want to see what it's like compared to the Switches. Oh yeah, and by the way, this is what I meant about the power lead. See, the last power lead was kind of stuck on like that. Lovely, but for storing it was hard to get that out. There you go. So you can see there's quite a significant difference in the size in there. Let's show you from above, if that's better. That is a lot more screen real estate. So whilst the screens don't look too, you can see my face, whilst the screens don't look too different in size here, look at the screen real estate. Don't know if you can see the edges of the screens. but that is a lot more screen that you're getting. So you can just about, I've lined up the edges, you can just about see it at the top there. That little border, there's a small border between the edge of the screen, much less at the top and the bottom. Here we go, you should be able to see that now. There you go. So that is a significant amount of screen size. The Joy-Cons you can see slightly bigger as well. I can tell straight away they feel a bit easier. I'll be honest, the old Joy-Cons were cool, but for my hands they weren't really ideal. These feel a lot smoother, feel like they'll be better for long play, and you can see the extra C button there to connect to your friends, connect to your Cs. So it's the Nintendo Switch 1 and the Nintendo Switch 2. We've had a look at them, but I guess it's time to play them. And to do that, I'm gonna take them home. And take them home I did. So here's the unit, got it, turned it on, and this is gonna be a walkthrough of the whole setup process for you. I'll fast forward the bits that I need to, and if there's any reference for time or anything like that, I'll let you know. So if there's an extended wait of time or something that we can cut through, I'll let you know how it all cracks off. But from what I remember, it's pretty easy. First thing you want to do, obviously, select the language of the country that you're in. Sweet. Yep, that's right. English is the language as well. That's what we want to do. Crack on with the setup here, which is pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? Of course, I read all of the information, the important documents, as you should. And it's pretty much the same as you'd expect on most devices. You know, you want to accept all of the licensing agreements and stuff. Obviously, next things you need to do is set up the internet. Be blanking out the screen here because I don't need you to know my Wi-Fi password, but pop that in. So obviously skipped a few seconds there. Select your time. You can see it's already downloading the update, which it'll probably do when you get it out of the box, to make sure you're running on the latest version. Shows you around how it works a little bit here, especially extra little features about how you can charge it from the top and the bottom now, which is a nice touch. You have to unplug the Joy-Cons for the first time, which I did there. There we go. Next up, it's all about showing that you can use them. I'm not going to connect it to the TV just yet. I'll do that later so we can go through all of this with you. Here's just a little attachment guide to walk you through attaching your Joy-Cons to a controller. I've also got some other third-party stuff that I'm going to show you in a bit as well with regards to using different controllers, or different controller setup, should I say. Here we are downloading the device data. It says a minute is remaining. I can be honest with you, it was true to a minute, so let's skip a little bit. Updated and then restarted. Next thing we look at is a system transfer. So if you have a Nintendo Switch 1, then you'll be able to connect your devices. Now, I wasn't sure whether this is going to be a wireless thing or whether I plug them in to each other, and it turns out that it is a wireless setup, I believe. So anyway, I had two USB leads knocking around because I wasn't sure what I need. One was for charging, one was for plugging in. Didn't have a memory card yet, that was still in the post, but to show you how the express card works is you literally just pop it into the unit and they work. Anyway, first things first, for a system transfer, got to sign into your account. Obviously I'm gonna hide a little bit of information there. I believe I may have used the QR code here, or did I log in? No, I logged in normally. Obviously got to skip that bit. Logged in. And then the first thing that it does is say, do you want to use this account? I said, yeah, go on. You can see my Nintendo Switch 1 below. Nice little comparison of the screen size as well. I was mentioning the little frames around the top and bottom of it. Now, here we go. Oh, by the way, with the Nintendo Switch, I want to make sure that's updated to the highest software as well. Firmware, should we say, before you do that. The transfer. I don't even think it shows up as an option if you haven't transferred it, but there you go. So that was me faffing around using an 8, wasn't sure if I was going to plug the devices together or whether I'd have to plug one into the power. So that's the Nintendo Switch 2 is plugged into some power using the Nintendo Switch 1 charger, if it's not confusing enough. Then tells you to go into a certain set of settings on your Nintendo Switch 1, which you're going to see me do here. Bosh, go into the settings. I have a little look around because I wasn't reading the instructions properly, and then finally get myself over to that system. Was it here? Yes. System transfer. There you go, right down the bottom. Slap that.
crack on. Next. There you go. All users. I grabbed everything for this account because it was a very simple account. Not too much on it, so there we go. Just a bit of information about playing. Compatible software. Make sure it's nearby. And again, so I thought I would need to plug these in. Which I didn't. Put a bit of information about data that I definitely read in all its solidarity. I think that was me just holding up the screen for you to have a little look about what that looks like, because I was worried about the ring light getting in the way. Scroll down and read it all. Promise I did. I read it all very thoroughly. A little bit of info about transferring from one console to another. Of course, I had to make sure that I plugged in the other device to another power supply. So even though they're near each other, I think maybe it's because of the battery level, it was saying that I needed to have both plugged in before I started the syncing of data. There you go. You see you have to kind of switch between accepting on each of the units. Now they're all plugged in and good to go. It kicks off. It said it was going to take a very long time, a whole 5 minutes to do the transfer, but to be honest, it did it in about 3. But here it is in fast forward, so we can skip to the next bit, which is what we actually do with the console. Now, just for the purposes of full transparency, you do get a repeat of some of the instructions which show you how the console works, how to use the stand and stuff like that. So I will chop through those bits, but I will show you an example of the accessibility of the game. So if I was to go back to the original console and try and select a game, then you'll see that all of the game cards will have been moved over to the device, and then you have to switch them between them. If you want to play them, you can't play with both sets of virtual game cards on 2 different devices, even though I own both of them. There you go, see? Or well, I had to insert the game cards to the actual card. But yeah, that's just a little example of that. So yeah, just to confirm we're all done. Definitely had to skip through any of the extra instructions showing you how to attach the Joy-Cons. There you go, here's the unit, fully loaded. There's the old setup, there's a new one. You can see we are good to go. Let's start gaming already, man. But listen here, I'm not somebody who doesn't treat their tech with love, right? Everything needs a case, protection, and all sorts. Now, all of the stuff you're about to see, I'll put links to in the description if you wish. This is a carry case, which is good because it has space not just for the Nintendo Switch 2 and the dock. It also can contain the Nintendo Switch with an actual clear case on it. Here's an extra little micro travel case that I have that I roll with. Always make sure you get one with the bra straps as well that holds it in, so that if you fold that open, it doesn't fall out onto the floor. That's for like when I'm traveling super light. All right. But anyway, I'll pop that back out, take off its bra, and show you how this all works. Now, I like this little clear case. It protects the unit, has some extra little soft handles, and also fits in the case. I've also put a screen protector on the Switch there. The only thing that hasn't got protection is the front of the Joy-Cons, which I'll tell you why they're like that. But yeah, this whole unit, you can sling it over your shoulder, you can carry the charger. There you go, that's how a charger works. You know how that works, so we don't have to do too much with that. Also contains the dock. You can see it also has got space for games and other little things. I've got some USB-C A to C converters and C to A converters. This is me setting up the dock for you, just so you can see how easy it is. Back of the dock there with a HDMI lead. Just slides right in. A nice little back you can pop onto the case so that you're good to go. You know how this all works by now. I've already unboxed this bit, but just wanted to show you the actual process, getting it all together. Also, the reason why I like this case is it has space for the camera as well, right? There's a few cases out there at the moment at launch, but not one that has space for camera, and space for extra controllers. So these little controllers that I've got here are for when you're using the, there you go, is the only drawback to do this. I've got to peel this off, but it's a small price to pay for extra bit of safety in a case. So I peel that little case off, and what these little these little devices do is they make it super easy for you when you are, you know, using a single Joy-Con to get hold of them. See that there? Very simple. Love it. Love it. For playing Mario Kart, could play for a lot longer. Of course, you can have the usual Switch controller dock there, which I'm managing to hold out of frame. Smart move, Marcus. Anyway, popped everything back on the Switch, closed up the case because everything's out of it. There you go. There's a little space for extras, games, USB-C to A or A to C converters, leads, all that stuff's in there. Whoosh. All right, let's get cracking, shall we? So the unit, obviously popping it in there. I'm gonna take the Joy-Cons out. I'll be playing solo today, so I'll pop them off, pop them into the special controller holder. Yeah, pressed on, good to go. But another question people always ask is how quick does it switch in and out of the mode where you're playing at handheld and TV? So I'll show you a quick example of that as well. Don't worry about the bad framing. There you go, bosh, slap it in, TV finds it. Easy. That's how long it takes for us to do that. Now, one thing that we do need to do next is set up our chat or group chats feature, and you need to register your number. Okay, that helps you set up game chat, and the process there is a QR code and you log in. I don't really need to show you it. And then you fill up your friends list with people. I have no friends. No, I'm joking, but fill up your friends list, and then you know that you can hit that C button and start game chat at any time. Let's show you a little example of how the camera looks. You can check the camera at any time by heading into your settings. Once I get game chat set up with some Mario Party and stuff like that, I'll probably do another piece of content around that as well. This is me just rolling around looking, see where if I can find where the camera was. I know I finally find it in settings, and it's clear straight away that this camera is designed to pick up your face and have, you know, a decent lightness. You're not looking at something that's super 4K. It just looks like it's really wide, picks up faces in the room, and that's what it does. There you go, that's my mug looking all smiley. Right, I guess it's time to go and play some actual Switch 2 games. And I think this video has been long enough, so I'm off to go smash up some Mario Kart World. And we'll be back soon with some videos. Make sure you press like and subscribe. If there's any links to any of the content or the stuff that I've used, like all the storage bits or controller adapters or third-party bits, ask for them. We'll put them in the comments. Anyway, until next time, stay blessed, like and subscribe. Peace.